All right, folks. So we're going to be talking about grammar. So grammar is the glue that holds together the different sentences that we speak and that we write. And in order to be a good writer, you have to have good grammar. There's just no way around it. So what I really wanted to do this year was to focus on grammar from the ground up, start from the beginning and work our way up till we hit our current standards so that we can fill any holes that might be present in our knowledge about grammar. Because we all know how to speak it, we all know what we say, but we oftentimes don't know why we say or do certain things. For example, like I said in my previous videos, I know how to speak Japanese. So when I had to learn Japanese, I remember being in Japan and I'm reading a textbook and I don't understand something. And I would ask one of my Japanese coworkers or my wife, why is this the case? And a lot of times people would tell me, I don't know. That's just what we do. And a lot of the skills of grammar, we know just because we speak English every single day. So our goal is to take it from something we do subconsciously, meaning something we're not aware of that we're doing, to make it something that's conscious, something that we are aware of while we're doing it and why we are doing it. So without further ado, let's break down what our first thing is going to be about for grammar. And that's going to be the rules of capitalization. So what I want you to do now is I want you to write down this phrase. I want you to write down the phrase, I capitalize names. Okay? I capitalize names. Would you write that down on your paper? Because that is the focus of this lesson. And you are going to be able to do that when we are done. If we finish and you're not able to do that, I want you to watch this video again. If you go to the assignment on Khan Academy and you're struggling, I want you to come back and I want you to watch this video again that breaks it down, what you're actually going to be doing. So in order to showcase this, I found a really awesome presentation on Prezi. First rule of teaching, you have to know how to use all the resources around you. And luckily, in the age of the internet, there are a lot of awesome teachers out there who put up stuff for other people to be able to use. So I'm really grateful for that. And it's also a really great thing to know. So whenever you're stuck on something, if, let's say I'm describing it in a way that is a little bit confusing, that doesn't connect with you, there's probably somebody out there who has a style that is perfectly tailored to help you be successful and help you understand. So it's always good to explore. So we're going to be doing this presentation here on common nouns versus proper nouns. So before we even get started, what is a noun? A noun is a person, a place, or a thing, right? So this pen is a noun. Me, I'm a noun. My daughter is Barbie, as you can see with its very colorful face, looking like David Bowie. Ask your parents about him. This is a noun. Anything around you that you can see, touch, that is going to be a noun. Okay, so, but there's different types of nouns. Not all nouns are created equal. Let's go back to the start here. Okay. So, not all nouns are created equal. There are different types of nouns, and they kind of break off into two separate categories. The first of these categories is called a common noun. So a common noun is any person, place, thing, idea, or animal. And these do not begin with capital letters unless they're at the beginning of the sentence. So again, they do not begin with capital letters unless they're at the beginning of the sentence, because we all know every time we start a new sentence, we do what? We capitalize. Yes, I can hear all of you screaming at me virtually right now that is what we do. So let's take a look here and let's look at some of these options here, right? So it says, is a police officer a common noun? Is a castle a common noun? Is a desk a common noun? Is a dog a common noun? And is driving a common noun? Why or why not? So before I go over the answers, I would really like to challenge you to just take a second and write down on your paper, do you think that these are common nouns or proper nouns? Oh, sorry, I went ahead of myself a little bit. But do you think that these are common nouns or not? Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and write that down. Now, again, if you don't pause, you are only going to be hurting yourself in the long run. It'll take you 30 seconds to pause and figure this out on your own. So please go ahead and take that challenge. Now, it says, is a police officer a common noun? A police officer is a common noun. There are police officers out there. It is a person, right? It is a profession. A castle, that's a thing. A desk, that's a thing, also a common noun. A dog, also a thing, that's a common noun. Driving, is this a common noun? And the answer here is no, because driving isn't a noun at all. Driving is something that we will call a verb. And we're going to go into that later in more depth. But a verb is basically an action. So if it's an action, it does not count as a noun. Now, common nouns can be found everywhere. Brainstorm 5 more of each kind. And what I want you to do is on our Google Classroom, on this assignment, I'm going to have you write down 5 common nouns. Okay? I want you to comment 5 common nouns on our Google Classroom. That way I know that you're watching this video and you're listening and you're being interactive. It's going to be worth some credit, it's going to be worth some points. So make sure that we're doing that. 5 common nouns. That's the challenge for this video. So again, on our Google Classroom, make sure you write that down. I am not going to write it on the assignment. You have to have watched the video to get this. You have to have paid attention to the video to get this. So if you don't do it, I'm going to know someone's not watching the video, someone's not paying attention, someone's skipping ahead, and so you're missing a lot of valuable information. So I will be checking those. So 5 common nouns. 5. Okay, so we got flower, cat, teacher, baby, house, shirt, bird, train. All these are examples of common nouns, and no, you cannot use these as your 5. So look around your house, look around your room, and come up with 5 different options besides what you see here in these pictures. Okay, and common nouns, they use these to add details. So one day I woke up late because I forgot to set my alarm clock. I couldn't eat breakfast and I had to walk to school. I missed art class and I forgot money for lunch. And it's asked, can you spot any common nouns? So I can spot a few right off the bat. Alarm clock. That's the thing. That's something that you have there, right? So that's one example right there. And I'm going to challenge you to sit down with your parents and try to find a couple more common nouns, because during this distance learning time, it's going to take all of us working together to be able to get the most out of this teaching and learning environment. Okay, so the next type of noun, remember I told you there were 2 types. So we already discussed common nouns. Now we're talking about proper nouns. So a proper noun is a specific person, place, or thing, and it can have more than one word, okay? So it says, teacher refers to any person. So a teacher, that's a common noun because there are many different types of teachers. But Mrs. Williams is a specific teacher. I'm your teacher. There are many teachers at Mojave Vista, but Mr. Hill is your teacher. So teacher would be common. Mr. Hill, me, that would be a proper noun. They have a lot of awesome students in this class. And if I say I have awesome students, that's a common noun. But if I say Colin's an awesome student, then that is a proper noun. If I say Amaya or Jamerson are awesome students, those are all examples of proper nouns. Okay, so let's look at some more examples they give us here. It says lake refers to any lake. Well, Lake George is specific. Spring Valley Lake is specific. Mojave Narrows is specific. Hesperia Lakes is specific. So I think it's best to try to find touchstones in your own life that you can relate this stuff to help you remember it a little bit better. It says streets refer to any streets, but Circle Street is specific. So there are many roads all throughout Victorville, but maybe you live on Burwood. That will be capitalized because Burwood is a proper noun. Maybe you live on Bear Valley. That would be capitalized because that is a proper noun. You wouldn't capitalize the word street. I live on that street. You wouldn't capitalize that because you're not giving a specific name of a street that you live on. It's a little different, but it's very important that you remember how to differentiate and separate those two. Okay, so it says every proper noun should be capitalized. Common nouns only capitalize at the beginning of the sentence, But proper nouns, no matter how many words are in that noun, every single word has to be capitalized. As you can see here, I'm going to bring my mouse up under the White House. Every single word here, not just the first, is capitalized because this entire place is known as the White House. Okay, President Barack Obama. One thing I want to touch on that I haven't yet is when you talk about a person and they have a title. So, for example, when you are being polite and I meet someone for the first time, and let's say it's my first day at work and I'm having the pleasure of meeting our principal, Mr. Brian Becker. I wouldn't just go up to him and say, "Hey, Brian," or "Hey, Becker," because that's rude. It's not polite. So I would say, "Hello, Mr. Becker," because that's his title. It's a Mr. Right? So Mr. Becker. I would capitalize the M and the B of our principal's name if I was writing it down. Okay, move this out the way just a little bit to make sure you can see all that that's there. And I'll leave it there for 1 second before I move on. So again, remember, if it's a name and they have a title to their name, Prime Minister, President, Mr., Mrs., then you want to make sure you capitalize those. If it has multiple words inside of the proper name, make sure that you capitalize every single one of those words. For example, Los Angeles Lakers. You're going to capitalize every single letter for that basketball team. Okay, and it says, writers use proper nouns to add specific information and for readers to make closer connections. On Thursday morning, I woke up and put my Nike sneakers on to take a run. I ran on Charles Street and saw Mr. Johnson from work. When I came home, I had a bowl of Cheerio cereal. I then began to pack for my trip to California. So for me, proper nouns are a great tool for really zooming in on something and really focusing on something and making it more realistic, making it more memorable. Because if I just say, "Hey, I have I went to a store." Okay, well, that's not really building an image as a reader. But if I say, "I went to the Nike store," now you can imagine, "Hey, I'm at the Nike store. This is a place where I can maybe get shoes, I can get some cool clothes." You can get that just from me adding in that one small detail. And it says, can you spot the proper nouns and how can you tell? Super easy. They all should start with, you guessed it, a capital letter. So make sure all your proper nouns have capital letters on them. Okay, so here we're going to be comparing common nouns versus proper nouns. So every proper noun has a common noun, but not every common noun has a proper noun. So a little bit tricky, but you just be aware, right? So every time I have a proper noun, there's going to be some common noun that kind of explains it. Even if there isn't a specific kind, so there isn't a specific kind of dust, and that makes it a common noun only. You're going to be like, "Oh, that's designer dust, that's supreme dust, that's a hype beast dust." No, it's just dust. There's no special kind of snow. There's no special kind of rain. We don't have a brand name for rain, right? So that's just rain. It's just snow. So you can have only common nouns, but you cannot have only proper nouns. A proper noun always has a common noun that is based off of. For example, when we're talking about a city, that's a common noun. There are many cities around the world. New York City is a specific place. Building, Empire State Building, right? A specific building versus general. There's a bunch of buildings everywhere. Your house is a building, right? Singers. So there are many singers. Some of you might like Selena Gomez. Some of you might like Justin Bieber. Some of you might like, I don't even know, I'm old. I don't even know who's cool anymore. Some of you might like Drake, right? Even though he's more of a rapper, but he sings sometimes. So I'm gonna count that as okay. So these artists are specific people, so their names would be capitalized. But if I said, "Who's your favorite singer?" I'm not gonna capitalize singer. Again, I know I'm repeating this a lot because I really want to drive home this point to you. So if you're like, I get it, good. So when you write, I don't want to see this mistake in your writing. Make sure you differentiate between what's that common and what's that proper noun. And then here we also have a a few more examples that I'll let you read if you want to pause the video and get a little bit more understanding. Okay, so this is just a quick recap. It says, do common nouns need to be capitalized? So I want you to just think, does it? It depends, and it depends on where it is in the sentence. If a common noun is the first word, you're going to capitalize it. Otherwise, you're not. Can proper nouns have more than one word? Yes, they can have multiple words. And it says, does every proper noun need to be capitalized? Yes, it does. And every word inside a proper noun must be capitalized as well. Is the word bed a common or proper noun? The word bed is a common noun because there is no, when I say bed, I'm not giving you a specific type of bed. If I say Serta, if I say memory foam, if I say this is a bed made by Jerome or Jerome Bed, like the furniture store, those are now proper nouns. And it says, are the words Disneyland a common or proper noun? Before you answer, I want you to look at those first letters of those words. Do you see capitalization? What does that tell you? What hint are you being given by saying that? So you made it here. Then you guys, like Kevin Durant says, are the real MVPs. So I hope that you watched the entire video, that you got the information that you needed. Please work on the assignment on Khan Academy. Make sure that you understand this stuff because there will be a quiz on Friday that you're going to have to take to make sure that you understand all of this stuff that we're working on. And then when you do your writing, I'm going to be grading you on your writing to make sure you have correct capitalization of your proper nouns and of your common nouns. And just like with the vocabulary, you're not just going to see this once. I'm going to spiral this back in. This is going to come back again later. So you want to commit it to memory and practice it so that you don't forget it. So again, thank you guys and have a fantastic day. Remember, you need me, I'm at the Zoom and I'm ready for you and I'm ready for all your questions. So please come and get me if you need me. Thank you guys. Bye.